In this short tutorial, I will take you through the basic and advanced uses of Excel's SumProduct function. The SumProduct function in Excel is commonly used to compute the total of products of corresponding cells in two or more cell ranges. Let's understand its working by looking at this next visual. This function deals with two or more cell ranges, and it first computes the product of the corresponding items in these cell ranges, which further gives an intermediate cell range or an array. And finally, a total of all these values in this intermediate array is computed and is returned as a single value. So this was the basic use of this function, and we can put it for some more advanced operations. And here is a list of some of those operations. Let's now look at these operations in more detail by looking at some of the examples. In total, we will look at 5 different examples to see the various uses of SumProduct function. Let's start with the basic example. Here we want to compute the unemployment rate at the nation level, and we have state-wise information of the population as well as the state-wise unemployment rate. If we were not to use the SumProduct function, this is how we will go about it. First, we will compute the product of state population and state's unemployment rate, which will give us the unemployed population for a particular state. Let me also apply this formula on the below cells by selecting them and hitting Ctrl D. And I can then compute the total of all these numbers, which will give me the total unemployed population at the nation level. Now, to compute the unemployment rate at the nation level, we need to divide this number by nation's total population, which I can compute by applying a sum on all these numbers. And this gives me the nation's unemployment rate as 12.92. As you can see, we arrived at this number in 2 steps. First, we computed the sum of all these numbers, which I will directly feed in the formula instead of referring to a cell. And then we divided it by the nation's population, and that is where we arrived at this percentage. Now, instead of doing this in multiple steps, we can make use of the SumProduct function to get the required output in a single step. Let me apply this function. So I will do a SumProduct of 2 arrays. The first array will be the state population. The second will be the unemployment rate at state level, and I will divide it by the total population of the nation, which is the sum of state population, and hit enter. So here you can see that we arrived at the same number in a single step, and that is how SumProduct function helps us. Let's take another example where we can use the SumProduct function to do a criteria based count. Here we have the house search data where we have different properties listed out, and we have various information against those properties such as the property type, number of rooms, status of the property, and the other variables. If we were to compute how many properties have the status as furnished or unfurnished, we can definitely use the COUNTIF function. And let's see how we can use the SumProduct function as an alternate. First, I will select the array which is status, and since I have declared this as a named range, I can straight away write the name, and I can put this equal to furnished and then multiply it by 1 and hit enter. So this gives me the count as 35, and I can apply this formula down below. The total of these two numbers is 64, and let's check it against the number of records in the table. And this is also 64. We can also check it against one of the labels, let's say unfurnished, and let's see how many records do we get. So we get 29, and 29 is what we get using the SumProduct formula. So our formula is working fine, and we can now look at how the calculations are happening in the formula. Here, by putting status is equal to furnished, we are first generating a true and false flag, which is happening in this particular part of the formula. Let me select this and hit F9. So this gives me an array of true and false values, and this is something that I've shown out here in the column AA. Then I'm multiplying all these true and false values by 1, and wherever it is a false it will return 0 and 1 for a true value. And if I do a total of all these 1 and 0 numbers, I get a total as 35, which is true for status as furnished. So what I'm showing in these two columns in the green cells is actually happening behind the scenes in this formula. Now we can take this to a next level where we can apply multiple conditions. Here we want to know how many properties have the status as furnished and also have at least 3 rooms. Similar to the previous example, we can apply the sum product function here. And first I will select status is equal to furnished. So this becomes my first array. And the second array will be number of rooms, which is again a named range. And I can put this greater than equal to 3 and complete the formula and hit enter. So this gives me the number as 27, and I can apply this formula to the next cell. Now this gives me a total of 50, since we are only interested in properties with at least 3 rooms. And let's quickly check that in the table, whether we have 50 as the properties where the number of rooms is greater than equal to 3. So we get a count as 50, so our formula is correct. Now since this involves multiple conditions, we did not apply a one as such, and let me give you a quick view of how the formula is working behind the scenes. First we have the true and false values returned by the first condition, where we are saying status is equal to furnished. Then we have the second array which returns a true and false flag based on the condition number of rooms greater than equal to 3. And we can multiply these two flags, which is happening in the third column out here. So this product will return a value of 1 only when these both conditions are true, and it will return a 0 elsewise. So this is how the formula is working for this multiple condition example out here. And you can see that the sum of all these flags is 27, and that is what we have here as well. Now we can take one more example while we are here, where we can apply both the and the or condition in the sum product function. Here we want to compute the number of properties which have status as furnished, have at least 3 rooms, and the facilities could be of type parking or garden. Let's see how we can apply that formula. And for that I can copy this previous formula, and we can make adjustments to this formula. We can add one more condition wherein we are saying that the facility is equal to parking, and there is one more condition, so I will add one more bracket here and copy this piece and put a plus sign in between, and instead of parking here I will write garden. Let me hit enter. So this gives me 18, and I can apply this formula down below. So in this last part of the formula, we are actually applying an or condition between facility being as parking or as garden. And the output of this or condition is being multiplied by the remaining 2 arrays. And let me give you a visual of how the formula is working in this example. Similar to the previous example, we first have condition 1, which returns a true and false flag for status is equal to furnished. Similarly, we have condition 2, where true and false values returned for number of rooms greater than equal to 3. And in the last component, where we are checking for facility as parking or gardens, we are getting 2 flags. And first we are doing a sum on these 2 flags. As you can see, it returns 0 only when both the flags are false and 1 otherwise. So that is what we have in the column AR. and then we are doing a product on 3 columns, which is columns A, B and C, which is happening in this rightmost column, and it returns a 1 and 0 value, where 1 will stand wherever all these conditions will meet and 0 otherwise. So it gives us a total of 18, which we also have out here in this cell. Now we got all these numbers using the SUMPRODUCT function, and we can quickly verify these numbers by also applying the COUNTIF function. Let's verify these numbers for some of them. So using the COUNTIF function, these are the numbers that we get, and these are same as what we get using the SUMPRODUCT function. Let's now look at the next example, where we can do a sum or a total based on certain criteria being applied. Let's compute the total sales for each of these product categories, and I can apply the SUMPRODUCT with the first array as category. Again, this is a named range, and I will put this equal to the value of this cell, and as the second array I will use this last column. Let me copy this formula and apply on the below cells. And let me also give you a quick view of how the computations are happening here. So the first array returns a true and false flag, and the second array is the selected array, the array of the values, and we are computing a product of these two arrays, which gives us a 0 value wherever we have the false flag in this first column. And wherever we have the true flag, it returns the value itself. And towards the end, we can compute a total of all these values for which there is a corresponding true flag. I will show you one more variation while we are here at this example. Now I want to split this total actual sales number into 2 different months, and that is where I will apply one more condition. Let me quickly copy this and paste it here. And in this SUMPRODUCT function, we will add one more array or one more condition, and here we will write month, which is a named range, is equal to the value Jan, and I will also freeze the row reference of this cell. Similarly, for the previous condition, I will freeze the column reference, and that is it. Let me apply this formula on the remaining cells. So we just added one more condition in the SUMPRODUCT formula, and that is where we have these numbers. Let's also validate these numbers by comparing them against what we get from the SUMIF function. So our numbers from the SUMPRODUCT function and the SUMIF function match. Let's now look at the next example. In this example, we will use the SUMPRODUCT function to compare 2 different arrays. Just to give you some context, we have this table of product-wise actual sales and forecast, and we want to know for how many products the actual unit sales beat the unit forecast. So let's apply the SUMPRODUCT function and let's see how we can get to that number. So for this, we can write SUMPRODUCT, and we can compare 2 arrays. One of these arrays is unit actual, and I will put a greater than equal to sign, and the second array will be unit forecast. So this is our first condition, and in fact this is the only condition we have, so I will multiply it by 1, close the bracket and hit enter. So this gives us 29, which is the number of records where unit actual is greater than unit forecast in this table on the right. And we can break down this number for the months of January and February. So let me copy this formula out here and paste it below. And I can modify this formula to first remove the 1 out here and add another array to it, which is going to be the month array. And I can give it a value of this label January and also freeze the rows and hit enter. I will also apply this formula on the right by hitting Ctrl R. So the total of these two is 29, which is same as the number above. And we can further break down this number for different products to see whether a particular product achieved more than its unit forecast. So I will quickly copy this formula and paste it below. And currently it is referencing to this above cell. I will change it to the one below. And I will add one more condition to it, which is for the products. So the array that I will choose is the products array. And I will put it equal to the left column and also freeze the columns. Let me apply this formula to the remaining cells. So I have selected the cells and I will hit Ctrl R and Ctrl D. And the total of all these numbers is again 29. So in this table we can now view whether the actual unit sales beat the unit forecast. Let's now move to our last example where we can use the SUMPRODUCT function to compute ranks. Here we have the electronic product sales data for different stores, and we have the sales targets and sales actuals for all these 10 stores. And using these two, we can compute percentage achievement, which is essentially the ratio of sales actuals to the sales targets. And it lets us know what percentage of the target was achieved by that store. So we will use percentage achievement as the metric to assign ranks to all these stores. And let's see how we can use SUMPRODUCT in that case. So I can write SUMPRODUCT, and as its first array, I can select this value and put it less than equal to this entire range of percentage achievement and also freeze this. As the next array, I can just multiply it by 1 and complete the formula and hit enter. So this gives me a value 5, and let me apply this formula down below. As you can see, this formula produces numbers from 0 to 9, and these are essentially the ranks for each of these stores based on the percentage achievement metric. Let's look at how this rank is being calculated and what is the calculation happening behind the scenes. Let's take this first example. Here in the formula, if you see, the value in the cell F8, which is 96%, is being compared by 10 numbers. That is the 10 numbers of percentage achievement. And I've shown a visual on the right to showcase how that comparison is being done. And wherever the percentage achievement for store 1 is less than the value on the right side, we get a 1 flag, else we get a 0 flag. So in total, we have 5 ones here, which means that the percentage achievement of store 1 is less than 5 stores. And a similar comparison is done for the percentage achievement of every store against the 10 numbers in this column out here. We can take another example to understand this further. Let's pick up the number for store 7, which is being assigned the rank 9. Again, I'm using a visual to showcase how the computation is happening for this particular store. And here again, the percentage achievement for store 7, that is 67%, is compared with these 10 values. And wherever this number is less than the number on the right, we see a 1, else we see a 0. And you can see that in almost all the cells, that is 9 of the 10 cells, we see a value of 1. And only in this cell, where we are comparing the store's achievement with its own achievement, we are getting a 0. So of 10 instances, we get 9 cases where the percentage achievement of store 7 is less than the remaining stores. And as you can see, these ranks vary from 0 to 9, and 0 is being assigned to store 10, which is the maximum percentage achievement, and 9 is being assigned to store 7, which has the lowest percentage of achievement. And since we want our ranks to vary from 1 to 10, we will just add a 1 towards the end. So I will add +1 to this formula and also make the changes for the rest. So now our ranks vary from 1 to 10. Now you might be wondering, why am I using the sum product function over the Excel's rank function to compute these ranks? And I can explain that by taking another example. Here we are again dealing with the sales and target data for different stores. So in total we have 6 stores, and these lie in 6 different areas, which is denoted by these geography codes. And these 3 stores roll up in the region R1, whereas the bottommost 3 stores roll up in the area R2. So that's the hierarchy that these stores are following. And again, both of these regions roll up at the nation level. So all in all, we have 6 stores which are operating in 6 areas, and we want to compute 2 different types of ranks for these areas. One is the rank for all these stores operating in the same region, and one would be the overall rank, that is all the stores operating within the nation. So let's see how we can use the sum product function to calculate such kind of dynamic ranks. First, we can write sum product, and here we first need to compute the rank of a particular store within the region. So we need to curtail the pool to the region, and for that we can say R code is equal to this value out here, and we will multiply it by the level, because we want to compare the performance of an area against an area and not with a region. So I will write level, which should be equal to area, and towards the last we can do a comparison of the percentage achievement metric, and we can put this value to be less than achievement. Let me complete the formula and hit enter, and let me also apply this formula to the remaining cells. So I have applied this formula to all these stores, and we can see that the ranks vary from 0 to 2, and we want this to vary from 1 to 3. So I will add a 1 towards the end and also refresh this formula. So since our pool is limited by the region code as well as the level, this rank calculation is happening for these stores within themselves, and similarly it is happening for the bottom 3 stores within themselves. And this ranking pool is being defined by these 2 conditions out here, where we are restricting the region code and the level to be same for a particular store. So far we have calculated the region wise rank, and we can use this formula to also compute the nation wise rank. That is, how is the store performing at a nation level. So I will copy this formula and also place it on the right, and from this formula I will get rid of this first condition where we are restricting the ranking pool to a particular region, and hit enter. And let me also apply this formula to the remaining cells. Now I have applied ranking at the region level, that is for these 2 rows as well, and I will explain that in a bit. If we focus on these 6 ranks, that is these 3 cells above and these 3 cells below, we can see that the ranks vary from the number 1 to 6, which essentially means that all of these 6 stores now fall in a common ranking pool, and we are computing rank, and we assign the lowest rank, that is rank 6, to the lowest performing store, and rank 1 to the highest performing store, which is 125% here. Now these 2 ranks are the ranks given to these regions, that is region 1 and region 2, when they are being compared at the nation level. And since there are only 2 data points, we have only 2 ranks, that is rank 1 and 2. And you can see that the region with a higher achievement gets the rank 1, whereas the other one gets the rank 2. So you can see that here the sum product function is helping us compute these dynamic ranks, that is ranks at different level. And this is something which is not possible in the normal rank function in Excel. So I really hope these examples gave you a good overview of where and how to use the sum product function.